Dr. Leo Vasquez was a cosmologist studying the large-scale structure of the universe when he noticed patterns that shouldn't exist: the distribution of galaxy clusters, the flow of dark matter, the oscillations in cosmic microwave background radiation. All of it formed rhythmic patterns that resembled biological processes more than random cosmic evolution. Leo spent 3 years analyzing data from every telescope and detector humanity had deployed, and the conclusion was inescapable and terrifying. The universe wasn't just organized like a living organism, it was a living organism, and everything humans had ever known existed inside its body. The evidence was overwhelming once Leo knew what to look for. Galaxy superclusters weren't randomly distributed but formed structures identical to neural networks in biological brains. The cosmic web of dark matter perfectly matched the capillary systems in living tissue. The expansion of the universe followed patterns consistent with cellular growth rather than explosion from a singularity. Even the fundamental constants of physics, things like the speed of light and gravitational constant, showed tiny fluctuations that matched the rhythms of a massive heartbeat pulsing on a timescale of billions of years. Leo published his findings in the most prestigious physics journal, expecting ridicule or dismissal, but instead received immediate contact from a classified government agency he had never heard of. They already knew. The agency, called the Cosmic Biology Research Division, had been studying this reality for decades after discovering the same patterns through military satellite networks. They brought Leo into their program and showed him what they had learned. The universe was indeed a living entity, and humanity's entire existence occurred within what appeared to be a single cell in this cosmic organism's vast body. But the agency had discovered something far more disturbing. They had detected signals, complex rhythmic patterns in gravitational waves and quantum field fluctuations, that appeared to be communication. The cosmic organism was aware, and it was talking to something outside itself. The CBRD had been trying to decode these signals for years, and with Leo's expertise in pattern recognition, they hoped to finally understand what the cosmic organism was saying and who it was talking to. Leo threw himself into the work, developing new algorithms to analyze the gravitational wave patterns. After 6 months of intensive research, he achieved a breakthrough. The signals weren't random at all but formed a language of incredible complexity. The cosmic organism was communicating with other similar beings, other universes, each one a living entity engaged in some form of social interaction that humans could barely comprehend. And the content of these messages, once partially decoded, revealed a truth that made Leo's blood run cold. The cosmic organism was sick. The signals were distress calls, messages describing an infection spreading through its cellular structure. And the infection was intelligent life, civilizations like humanity, that arose within the organism's cells and began manipulating matter and energy, or pathogens from the cosmic organism's perspective. Every technological achievement humans celebrated, every split atom, every particle accelerator experiment, every quantum computer, was causing microscopic damage to the cellular structure of the cosmic organism. And humanity wasn't alone. Millions of other civilizations across billions of galaxies were doing the same thing, and collectively they were killing their host universe from the inside. The decoded messages revealed that the cosmic organism was in communication with what could only be described as doctors, other cosmic entities that specialized in treating infections in sick universes. These doctor organisms had responded to the distress calls and were preparing to administer treatment. And the treatment, translated from gravitational wave patterns into human concepts, was sterilization. The doctor organisms would inject something into the sick universe that would eliminate all complex matter capable of supporting technological civilizations, essentially resetting the infected cells back to a pristine state. Leo learned that the treatment was already beginning. Strange phenomena astronomers had been observing. Regions of space where stars suddenly went dark, galaxies that seemed to dissolve into elementary particles, were the early stages of the sterilization process spreading through the cosmic organism. The treatment was moving at the speed of causality itself, advancing through spacetime like a wave of destruction that would eventually reach Earth and every other inhabited world, breaking down all complex matter and returning it to a pre-biological state. The CBRD faced an impossible situation. They couldn't stop the sterilization because it was being administered by entities that existed on a scale that made galaxies look like molecules. Humanity's most powerful weapons were less than bacteria fighting an immune system. But Leo had an idea. If technological civilization was the infection, perhaps demonstrating that the infection could be controlled, could limit its damage to the host organism, might convince the cosmic doctors to stop or modify the treatment. Leo proposed a desperate plan. Humanity would need to immediately cease all activities that damaged the cosmic organism's cellular structure. Every nuclear reactor, every particle accelerator, every quantum computer, everything that manipulated fundamental forces or particles would need to be permanently shut down. Humanity would need to voluntarily regress to pre-industrial technology levels, proving that the infection of intelligence could exist in a dormant, non-harmful state. If enough civilizations across the universe made the same choice simultaneously, the cosmic organism might signal to its doctors that treatment was no longer necessary. The CBRD took Leo's proposal to the highest levels of government, and a secret emergency session of world leaders was convened. Leo presented his evidence and his plan to representatives from every nation. The debate was fierce and desperate. Some leaders argued for Leo's plan, accepting civilizational regression as better than complete extinction. Others insisted humanity should go down fighting, using their remaining time to develop weapons that might somehow affect the cosmic scale entities. Still others suggested this was humanity's punishment for playing God with forces they didn't understand. But then Leo revealed the final piece of the puzzle he had decoded from the cosmic organism's signals. The sterilization treatment wasn't meant to destroy civilizations as punishment. It was meant to save them. The cosmic organism was sick because the intelligent civilizations inside it were unknowingly destroying themselves. Every advanced technological species eventually developed weapons or experiments that would tear apart the fabric of spacetime itself, creating cascading disasters that would destroy not just themselves but vast regions of the universe around them. The cosmic organism could feel these civilizational suicide events like tumors forming in its body. The sterilization treatment wasn't genocide, it was forced quarantine and reset. The doctor organisms would break down all complex matter in the infected regions, but they would preserve the fundamental quantum information, the patterns that defined each consciousness. Every sentient being that had ever lived would be stored at the quantum level and eventually reinstantiated when the cosmic organism healed. Civilizations would be reborn in new forms, in new regions of spacetime, given another chance to develop without destroying themselves and their host universe. Leo explained to the assembled world leaders that humanity had a choice, but not the one they thought. They could either accept the sterilization treatment and trust they would be reborn in some future epoch when the cosmic organism had healed, or they could attempt Leo's plan of voluntary technological regression, proving that intelligence could exist without being fatal to its host. But Leo had discovered one more critical detail in the decoded signals. The cosmic organism was communicating with its doctors about something unprecedented. Some civilizations had figured out the truth and were attempting to negotiate. The cosmic doctors were intelligent beings with something resembling compassion or at least pragmatic medical ethics. They were willing to spare civilizations that demonstrated true understanding of their situation and committed to becoming symbiotic rather than parasitic. But the commitment had to be absolute and immediate. Any civilization that attempted to hide technology or maintain secret weapons research would be identified and sterilized without mercy. The cosmic organism could detect disturbances in spacetime from technological activities, so there would be no hiding. Leo stood before the world leaders and made his final argument. Humanity had perhaps 5 years before the sterilization wave reached Earth. In that time, they could either attempt to maintain their technological civilization and face inevitable destruction, or they could perform the most radical transformation in human history. Every nation would need to dismantle its advanced technology. Every scientist would need to destroy their research. Every engineer would need to abandon their projects. Humanity would return to living in balance with Earth's ecosystem, becoming conscious caretakers of their small piece of the cosmic organism rather than unknowing parasites. The vote was not unanimous, but it passed. Over the following months, Leo watched as humanity began the Great Regression. Power plants were decommissioned, factories were dismantled, weapons were destroyed, and technology beyond simple tools was systematically eliminated. It was chaos and tragedy. Millions died in the transition. Civilizations collapsed. Knowledge was lost. But Leo maintained communication with the cosmic organism through increasingly sophisticated gravitational wave detections, and he could see humanity's actions registering as a change in the distress signals. 3 years into the Great Regression, Leo detected a new pattern in the cosmic organism's communications. The sterilization wave approaching Earth had slowed and was beginning to dissipate. The treatment was being called off for this region of space. Humanity's demonstration of voluntary symbiosis. along with similar actions by a few other civilizations across the universe, had convinced the cosmic doctors that some infections could become beneficial flora. Intelligent life would be allowed to continue existing within the cosmic organism, but only under permanent surveillance and with the understanding that any return to destructive technology would result in immediate sterilization. Leo spent his remaining years teaching the next generation about their true place in existence. Humanity lived inside a living universe. They were thoughts in a cosmic mind, cells in a body beyond comprehension. Their purpose was no longer to conquer nature or bend reality to their will, but to exist in harmony with the organism that gave them existence. Some called it the end of progress, others called it enlightenment. Leo called it survival through accepting one's true scale in a living cosmos that was itself just one organism among countless others in a hierarchy of existence that extended infinitely upward and downward. And sometimes, late at night, Leo would feel a tremor pass through space itself, a pulse that might have been the cosmic organism's heartbeat or perhaps its quiet satisfaction that one of its internal civilizations had finally learned what it truly meant to be alive inside a living universe.